Hello there folks, this is Ferenc on board here with a video. It's been a while since I posted something. It's been a period in which I have been feeling somewhat low. Now I came with an idea today on making a video on how to be a bit more successful and a bit more resourceful in life, since this kind of video is something that I haven't tried and done as of yet, so why not dive a bit into it. Now the point is that with being successful, many people may not simply understand what being successful means. Now, to give it a very simple definition, being successful is all about focusing on one thing at a time until you become very good at it. And also it refers to becoming so good at it, you actually turn it into a habit. Now, many people would actually say that they don't have the time, they are too busy, they have to work. But the question is, how do you think you will become successful? People who are successful have always been working towards that. Usually they start working at a very young age, and they work on that for quite longer and longer. Now, to become successful, it doesn't you or any person does not require to work like 15 hours a day towards that. It's enough to work just a little bit, and it's always important to have a specific plan in mind. And being successful is just like building a business. If you can't see it hold for like 5 years with whatever things may pop up, it's most likely not going to succeed, because many businesses actually fail before they reach 5 years, and some of them may fail even afterwards. So, to start with, being successful is about focusing on one thing at a time. Ever since we are young, and it is a quote on that, we keep running and trying things and trying this and trying that. We try to find things we settle with, but also the programming that we have ever since we are young, that's another thing that holds us down, because when we find something that we want to do, we are pulled down by people that keep telling us, hey, you just need to work a job, you just need to go to school, and basically that's it. These demi-narcissistic people just suffer because they've been through this, and they simply wouldn't mind if you'd keep to that level, because by you becoming better and better, you remind them of the failure that they actually are. I've seen it in my actual life, and people will lie you. They will find all sorts of ways to draw your attention, and unfortunately there's this thing that most people may not know. When you get distracted, the mind requires around 30 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes, to get back into what it was doing, like fully get back into it. So it is most preferable that if you want to start doing something, you start creating a tight schedule, like for the next days, for the next week even, like how you would be doing your own thing. Like as a game designer, unfortunately, and developer more like, I am not doing this, which I should, and now as I'm getting better and better at my spiritual journey, I will start to do this, because there's always problems that can appear in programming, in design, in whatever, and you may not predict them, but you can let them for later. Sure, if a certain event doesn't work in your game, it doesn't mean that your game is a total mess. You can focus on other things, and you can schedule that problem for a later time. Now, in most of our cases, you know that moment when something doesn't work and you want to put more and more time into it and more time into it? Well, one thing to realize is that, well, in order to succeed in something, when you hit a wall, you just don't have to hit it harder and harder. You just have to relax and set back a bit, and just try to do things that, well, will distract you a bit from the problem, because in the meantime you will keep thinking of that problem subconsciously, and a solution will come sooner or later. In my case, like, I don't even have to struggle in this case. If something doesn't work, I will focus on it and I will do something else in the meantime. Usually when you hit a drawback, it means that you've done enough in there, and there are other parts that needs to be taken care of. You never erect a building by building a quarter of it in height and then you continue with the rest of it. Each of the stories, right? Each of the floors has to be created in turn so that the building, just gets higher and higher until it gets completed. So one thing for success is to focus on one thing at a time. Successful people usually focus on a strategy that's called 2 out of 10 or 5 out of 25, although I'd suggest you try the first one for the beginning. So how does that work? Well, for each day you create a list that has 10 objectives you want to achieve. The first two of those are the most important and none of the others will be focused until you finish those two critical ones. If you have any time, any spare time, you start doing the rest and you focus on those two. At the end of the day, if you haven't finished those two, you create another list for tomorrow and you'll say, I haven't finished these two, let's see what else I have to do. And doing an analysis of your days, like each day, that's something good, because doing this analysis at the end of the day will train your mind to look for mistakes. It will train your mind to do the opposite of what society teaches us, because society teaches us that the moment you fail, it's the end. You see so many people, they fail and that's it. They give up, they quit. They don't like it. School teaches you so, and at times it actually teaches that in a very, very aggressive way. Like I've seen it in my country. I've been afraid of succeeding, afraid of even starting things because of the fear of loss, the fear of failure. But the question is, when you're at the beginning, what was it? What is it there that you can actually lose? Like you don't have a name, right? You're not well known. No one knows you. Oh, sure, people will laugh at you, but well, when I think about this, I look back and say, I'm quite a person that's fulfilled in life, even if I'm just 29, and I can say that I'm fulfilled in life. I can say that I'm abundant. Sure, I might not have the financial confidence that everyone would require, but at least I'm working in that direction. And when people laugh at you, just look them in the face. Look them and see that they actually laugh, but they are miserable. It's a bit psychiatric, yes, but look them in the eyes. They are laughing at you, but they are miserable. And also ask yourself a very powerful and grinchy question. It's like, when do you think it was the last time they actually laughed? Like, I actually laugh each and every day. I've got a few friends, but I don't need 1,000. Like, I've got a few friends that kind of reflect what I want to be. And I don't mind hanging with these friends. They might be out of my league for some reason, like I'm older than them, so I'm wiser than them, but I look at the other side. They might be younger than me, but they make good listeners, because they listen to me when I tell them some deep stuff. They're still at the age when they can fuck up, but come again, life as I've seen it, and this is something that I've noted myself, life has a very, very important period, which is the period of age between 20 and 30 years. Because when you are very young, you are defenseless against your parents' programming, your relatives' programming, and all the such. Because, let's face it, up till the age of 7, the brain works on specific wavelengths that, the mind has no filters then. So whatever your parents tell you, their fears, their limitations, their don'ts, and their can'ts, and the such, you just end up repeating them, and then you end up believing in what many people say to be your lower self, all that bunch of programming that will pull you down. I honestly don't believe in a lower self, because I just call it the Jesus on the cross syndrome, because people just end up worshipping this falsehood of this falseness of a lower self. Like, why do you create a version of yourself that you attribute all the junk that you have from other people? Why you also even classify it as there are several types of lower selves? It's like, dude, can you be more psychiatric than that? And it's like, I really don't take into account if I've hurt someone's feelings, because people just get addicted to certain beliefs just so that they can justify their own ideas. Like, I don't need to believe in a lower self. I just know there's junk from other people. I don't need to classify it. Like, I know it's just junk from other people. Sure, I've created my own junk because, when you believe in something, and again, belief means accepting something without the necessity for proof, and for stupid people it actually works because the moment they've said something, that's proof enough. Well, why do I need to create monsters? Like, why do I need to create a lower, a weaker version of myself and actually attribute it some powers? And guess what? Now, through the power of my mind, I actually get beaten by that creation. It's like, dude, it's like stabbing myself in the belly. Like, it's like stabbing myself to death. Like, why would I even do that? It's just some stupid programming and that's it. I don't have to classify things. I don't suffer from this classification mania. Oh sure, I use it. I abuse it, yes, but come again, it's like, why would it even matter? Now, to go even further, being successful is all about changing your mindset. First of all, people need to change their mindset towards success. If people fear success, if people fear money, and they have the impression that rich people are evil and that money is evil, well then, money doesn't love you then. You don't love money, money doesn't love you back. Sure, many people would say that money is evil, but everything whirls around money. If you want something, anything that you want, it costs money. Sure, many people will say that, money doesn't buy happiness, but sure, poverty won't either, right? And it feels a bit better when you are rich. Now, the thing is that many people attribute richness to having a lot of money, and that is quite wrong, because being rich is actually an acronym, just like fear is an acronym. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and rich means realizing I create happiness. When you say that to yourself, it should actually start to change your behaviors. It should start changing the core being of what and who you are, because in the end, when you realize that you are the one who has to create their own happiness, well then, congratulations, you have taken the correct pill. Now you're starting to lose the contact with Matrix, and it starts losing the grasp on you. I see in one of Ralph Smart's videos, like he has a lot of videos about the Matrix having you. It's called 10 Signs the Matrix Has You. It's one of his more recent videos, and I have to say, it's like, out of the 10 things, like one of them was like, I still have half of that sign, so I must be pretty free and I just don't realize. Now, becoming successful is also something that might and will definitely become a lonely thing. Usually, the more successful people are, at many times the more busy they are. So, when you surround yourself with people who achieve success, it might feel a bit lonely, and that's the resistance within you, those demons within you, those entities of misery within you, those parasites that want to draw you back. Like, remember those times when you were with your friends, right, getting drunk, using your time to, like, unproductively in all possible ways, right? So, another point of success is to start actually reading, which is something that I'm still not doing, and I'm planning on doing that. And the more you learn is the more you earn. It's a proven principle of life, because rich people actually read around 52 books a year, almost one book a week. And once you become so hungry on knowledge, you just realize that there's more and more. Like, the effect of the more you know, the more you realize that the less you know. You see, it's the opposite of the Dunning-Kruger effect, which says the dumber you are, the more stupid you are, the more you believe that you know more, right? And that's quite common nowadays. If you see, like, stupid people will always believe they know it well, but, right? Just find yourself the right mentors. Don't take pieces of advice from people who are, poor, but they teach you how to be rich. It's like, always ask them. So you keep speaking about that, like, how come you're not that? Like, you're speaking about how to become, like, better in life through meditation, and how come you're so depressed, right? There has been a very amusing article about some people, right? There was this female who would write a lot of articles on how to become better in life and how to improve the quality of your life in well, through meditation. The article stated she died of depression. It's like, okay. And um, there was also this thing that, said this person was always writing articles on how to eat healthy, and the strange thing was that they actually died of cancer. Now, cancer is something intricate because it can also have, and it will always have, spiritual meanings behind it, probably at a greater plane of existence, right? At a greater plane of existence, that person actually chose in the spiritual realm to exhibit, to experience what suffering and dying from cancer is like, because as a spirit, you're a pure being. You don't know how things will unfold. It's just like before getting into your favorite game and you want to try something new, you don't know like how it will go, right? And you're also detached from your character, right? Your character is taking damage, your character is dying all the time or at times, right? And it's somehow quite strange, right? You're detached from that and you don't know how much your character is actually suffering. Well, that suffering is basically just figures, but figuratively speaking, even in your life, you don't know how much your body suffers, because the body is actually the character you play this game of life. And also, don't forget, this game of life doesn't have a safe game. It doesn't have a load game. Well, it actually has when you go to sleep and when you wake up, but other than that, if you screw up, well, you've just found a way that your plan doesn't work. Congratulations. Celebrate a bit and start all over. If you fail, well, you just learn a lot. You learn a lot more from failures. That is why old folks, who are also very wise, they have failed in life more than the rest of the world has ever tried. And you also have to um, start using words that are less punishing on yourself. Is like really delete words like fail, right, and bad from your life. Like a successful person said, I didn't fail 10,000 times, I just found 10,000 ways my strategy wouldn't work. Okay, next one. So that's a point, because success in the end is what I call an acronym for suck ass, because you basically suck ass. Once you succeed, and once many people succeed, they have the impression that, oh, I'm finally there, and they just settle down and they don't do anything and they just relapse into the mindset of poverty, right? And it's just a period of time until they start, doing the old habits again and again. Once you want to become successful, it's a life journey. You don't change it. You just go on and go on. And once you reach a certain level, there's a definite insurance that you wouldn't want to go back from there anymore. I mean, money might be evil, but money governs the world. And in the end, we are all evil and good at the same time. There is always balance. You have to accept the other parts of yourself. You have to start becoming introspective if you want to become successful and achieve any of the dreams that you go through. And also you have to realize that you actually have to put your ass down and actually start working towards yourself, because just dreaming won't do anything. While you work, you can also dream and envision yourself doing those things, because that way you will attract more and more ideas rather than just distract your mind constantly, because the universe will give you based on what you ask of it, and you ask of it by envisioning things, but also working towards those. Like at times I even get flashes like how my Unity game will look like even if I haven't started Unity yet. So envisioning things is actually very, very powerful. Now I don't want this video to become way too long, so I think I have provided you with a few ideas on how to become more successful in life. To become more productive in life, you have to create yourself some goals that you have to achieve. Don't expect to achieve them from the beginning, sure, but you also have to think how you would want your things to be achieved. When you put yourself the wish that you have a goal, right? When you settle a goal, if you can achieve it, and if you know how you achieve it, well, that goal is not big enough, so you have to create something bigger and bigger. But the big goals that you have to assign them a certain specific period of time. Like, I want to achieve this in specifically 8 months and a half. So you have to do that, and then you have to split it per days. And once you split it per days, you have to think about how easy I can make these so that I make small steps. Because if you make them too easy, you have to align them to make them a bit more challenging, because if they are too easy, they are boring and repetitive. If you make them too hard, you won't achieve them, so you will start pulling yourself down. So you have to learn these ideas. If you keep doing this every single day, you will realize that you have certain limitations that you can go beyond, and you have to settle some dummy goals, the way they are called. And these goals are goals that are somewhat easy to achieve, and these dummy goals will help you achieve the medium goals, and the medium goals will actually help you achieve the harder goals, the long-term ones. And once you achieve those long-term ones, it's like, okay, you have to make yourself better and better goals. You have to work with yourself. So you have to realize how easy and how hard each of these has to be. You have to become introspective. You have to become your best friend, because in the end, people, even your family, may turn against you, but your body will never ever leave you. Sure, the separation will occur when you will pass away, but your body will be always there for you. So why not, you're still in that marriage. Many people believe that getting married is all about finding a person of the opposite sex, well, in most of the cases, and basically live with that person, but that ends up in codependency in most of the cases, because there's no real love at the middle. It's just a codependency. Each one needs the other, and they are just a slave of their own demons. And they also have expectations of the other person to solve their problems. That's codependency, and if you really, really open your eyes, you will see that it's almost everywhere in society. That's how parasitic entities actually work. They pair people based on their incompatibilities. It's very simple as that. It's like playing The Sims, but you do it the opposite way. You just don't pair people on any premise. You just pair people. The more incompatible they are, the better. Because those people will actually quarrel all the time, and through that quarreling they will put out pain, and that pain feeds those entities, and they become stronger and stronger. That's why people become more and more silent, and they die more and more inside. And once that thing actually bursts, you will have great chances to see them on television that they have committed murder or suicide or the such. And the fake people around them will start wondering, just like the fake people in the news. Like they will start wondering, oh my God, why did that person commit suicide? Why was that person, how could they commit suicide? It's like they were so happy, they were so fulfilled. Oh, come on, really? Like, you don't even know yourself, and you're just pronouncing yourself on other people. It's like, really? It's like, really? And that falsehood that they come up with is like, oh, come on. I can sense it from a galaxy away. Make that actually 2, because I'm that awesome. And it's like, it's so fake, it's actually painful. Like, stop actually acting like that. Oh wait, they won't, because they can't see beyond that. So you see, people cannot be saved. You're not here to save people, but you're here to save yourself. When there's trouble and there's emergency at the sea, right? The rescuers that come, they will send a few choppers because they don't have any more, most likely. And if it's 1,000 people, they can't save everyone. And their most important rule is that we only save the people who swim towards us. If you just stay there and expect them to come to you, no one will actually do it for you, and you'll just die. How long do you think you can survive in rough waters? Especially if at night and they are cold, you'll die of hypothermia quite fast, or the sharks will most likely eat you, because there will be so many people, doing all those desperate moves. They are just an invitation to sharks. Sooner or later it will happen. Now, you always have to swim towards the light, towards like a rescue boat or something like that. So I think I've covered enough ideas on how to become successful. I will continue other days with other videos. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested. Feel free to follow my channel if you think it resonates with you, and feel free to ask me questions and provide me feedback to improve. I'm always looking forward to improve. And what can I say? Have an awesome day, and just remember, life is awesome, and also so are you.